the one, the only, Bencio.
Morning and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube table Enabled. We start a new week of Shulchan Aruch Yomi Siman Reishayin Vav 276. Dine Ner Shehidlik Ene Yehudi B'Shabbos. This is a halacha which really carries a lot of ramifications, expensive ramifications here in Israel. Talks about if light is lit by a non-Jew, are you allowed to benefit from that light on Shabbos or not? Now, in America, there's no problem using electricity, because even if electricity were to go off or people turn it on and off in electric companies, most of America is not Jewish or any other country. The problem is Israel. Most of the people who live here are Jewish, even if they're secular. So if the electricity, their people are turning electricity on and off on Shabbos, so you're benefiting from, you're allowed to benefit from a light that was turned on Shabbos, a candle, the Gemara talks about was turned on Shabbos. Similarly, electricity, most poskim say, is a malacha, havara. Chazon Ish has a different problem, calls it bona. To me, I don't know why electricity should be usher at all. I don't think it's called the same thing as fire. Right? It's not really flammable. It could become flammable, but really, technically, electricity is not really fire. So, I mean, technically, I would say you could use electricity on Shabbos and Yontif for sure. Yontif for sure, because, Havara is mutter. If the problem of Havara, of lighting electricity, turning on the lights, is Havara, it should be mutter on Yontif. Yontif, anytime you do it, even if it's not Ochel Nefesh, but you want to have light in the room, people enjoy a lit room more than a dark room. That's for sure okay, but I heard Rav Soloveitchik from Yeshiva University was quoted as saying he didn't want to paskin like this, but he said it. My uncle, who used to learn in his shir, heard him that he said it, but he said don't paskin like that. He thinks on Yontiv mutter. I think even on Shabbos mutter. But according to almost all poskim, turning on a light is asur midoraisa according to most poskim on Shabbos and Yontiv. But here in Israel, the secular Jews are turning on lights, or they could turn on lights if electricity failed, or sometimes I guess they turn on lights. So this is a problem of benefiting from the light that was turned on by a Jew, right? Can you benefit from it? And therefore, a lot of people, especially in the ultra-Orthodox communities, have generators. They purchase generators. My mother-in-law I live with, she has a generator in her house. And the generator, a lot of people in this neighborhood, I would say at least half the people who live in this place that I live in, this neighborhood that I live in, have generators, including the shul and other prominent buildings, which basically run their own electricity. Electricity is not run by the electric companies because they're worried. People are worried they're going to turn on electricity. If it would go off, they turn it on. Sometimes I guess they flip the switches and play with it. I don't know exactly what goes on. And therefore, a lot of the poskim are machmer and people have their generators, which is a tremendous financial expense. Now, generators is a nice thing to have. There are also, in America, it's a nice thing to have a generator because oftentimes there's snowstorms in America and you could be left without electricity. Hurricane Sandy, the people at generators were very well off. You had a week and a half, 2 weeks of no power, no heat. It's pretty good to have a generator. I would invest in a generator no matter where I live. But it's a nice thing to have a generator. Here, there's no snow so often here in Israel, so it's not really relevant. But when there is snow, it is a nice thing to have a generator or any power outage. So it's nice to have a generator which is available. But a lot of people here don't have so much money, and to be able to afford a generator is very expensive. So let's see if you really need a generator. I'll talk more in Ian Talina on whether I really believe you need a generator. Let's get into the real halachas. Aleph, I know Yehudi shehidlik haner b'shvil Yisrael. Also lakol. If a non-Jew lights a candle, specifically he lights it for a Jew, to be able to see. Even if you didn't command him, you didn't tell him to do it, you're not allowed to use it. I feel mishal hodlak b'shvilo. Even if he lit it for one Jew, another Jew can't use it also. Hagav ein chiluk b'zeh ben katzav o sachar lo katzav. Doesn't matter whether I hired him, I paid him to turn on the light, or I paid him in general, take care of my electricity. So you rented him out, or you made a deal with him, turn on my lights all the time. The whole of that Yisrael nenem malacha atma b'Shabbos aser b'chol, and since he's benefiting from it, right? Amir la'akum is also. I can't tell a non-Jew to do something, midrabanan. But if he does it by himself, normally even if he did it for me, right? I bear no responsibility. But if I'm going to benefit, can I benefit from it or not? That you can't do. Now, why is it? So we'll discuss that in Ian Salina. Why is that I can't benefit? Why is it more severe when benefiting from it? Most explanations say because if you benefit, we might tell him to do it, which is hard to understand because Amir al-Akum is only the Rabbanan. So it's a Gzeira, and we shouldn't ask her. Aval Mihiliku, we'll talk about it more in Ian Delino. Aval Mihiliku L'Tzarko, or L'Tzarachol. Let's say he laid it for himself, or L'Tzarachol Yisrael. A chola, someone who's very sick, you're allowed to light for him. Afilu Ein Bo Sakana. Right? A chola, there's more. Amir al-Akum, you're allowed to tell a non-Jew to do something, even though Raisa, if someone's a sick person. Hagal L'Tzarach Tanim, the Huke Chola Shem Bo Sakana, or young children also. It's dangerous for them to get sick, even though they're not in a sakana now. It could develop the more serious situations. You're allowed Amir al-Akum here also. You could benefit from it. Not only you can benefit, anyone can benefit. Same thing. He lights a bonfire for heat, a fireplace for himself, or for a sick person. Some say Madura is worse than a candle, because a candle you can't really make the fire any bigger, but a Madura you're gonna have to throw on logs of fire all the time. You might do it. He might add on for you, for a person who's not chola. He did it for himself, but he might add on for you very easily, so you can't benefit. Let's say you told him not to, and he just did it against your will. He does something, right, where the non-Jew, let's say he's a butler or a servant in your house, and he's servicing you probably, and he does it. He sees you don't have light, he does it for you. He's definitely doing it for you. But if the guy marches into your house and turns on your lights, that's onus. It's against your will. So there's no isser. Let's say Jews and non-Jews are sitting together, and a non-Jew lights a candle. Let's say most of the people that are not Jewish, or you could use it because Rov says it's for a non-Jew. In Rov Yisrael, most people are Jews. Even if it's half and half, aser. It's hard to understand why half and half would be aser. The most here is this is the Rabbana. We should go Safi Daravan Lakulo. If it's evident that he's lighting it for a non-Jew, could go and try to row him. Who's the one? He lights the candle, even though there's more Jews there. The non-Jew is quick to use that fire for himself. Then it's clear that he did it for himself. Some say Amir la'akum, right? To tell someone to light a candle. Mishum desfila the mutar Amir la'yenu I feel malacha gmura b'makom mitzvah. Even as malacha d'oraisa, Amir la'akum is mutar b'makom mitzvah. It's only us that are on Amir la'akum in the place of a mitzvah. They're matir it. Shall be said nagu rab lahaka b'dar v'latzav savos la'yenu Yehudi lahadlik neiros l'sarach sluda. If rab b'sudas chasen al mila, you want to enjoy yourself. You could do it. Have a nice festive wedding or a meal of ein mocha biyadam. No one should protest against it. Rama says nonetheless you should try to be machmir, unless there's a big need. The harova poskim cholkan as far as shin zayin said. Hey, Mikar adin technically you're allowed to, but it's better to be machmir. If you have a need, you can do it. Gimel him omer adam la'avdo al shivchaso leilech imo hadliko ner. Let's say you tell a non-Jew, your servant, whatever, come with me. Right, let's go for the journey, and he lights a candle. Even though he also needs a candle to see where he's going. You're the one who told him, let's go for a walk. It's dark, and the place you're going to walk. So it's like he's doing it for you. However, if there's a candle lit, to tell any Yehudi, take the candle and hold it. It's only the Rabbanan. So therefore, it's Amir al-Akum for a Drabanan, which is from Muksa, which is Gzeira, which is Mother Daladi. And when Yesh Ner at Beis Yisrael, if there's a Ner, a candle in Beis Yisrael, he lights a different candle. You can already see, but he lights another candle. Even if he doesn't for you, as long as the first candle is around, you could use it. But once the first candle goes out, then you're using the second one. You can't do that. Let's say he adds oil to the candle, the non-Jew. You can estimate how much time it would have, the original oil would have lasted, and you can use it up until the point where it would have ended. And then it's also. Now, I don't understand why you have to. You're not supposed to start up with non-Jews. However, if the non-Jew in your house is doing something even for his own need. You're not supposed to start off with non-Jews and make protests, cause fights. But since it's better not to have candles in your house, you could, in this case, tell him not to light a candle, even if it's for himself. Hey, Ba'artos Karos, places where it's really cold, like Russia. Again, he can do a big furnace. He can light the fireplace before the Ktanim. Ktanim, young children, are considered like cholim. Doesn't say how old the Ktanim are. I would assume anyone under the age of our mitzvah. Mutar and Agdolim Lischamim. It was written for the chola. Right, we said for the chola is mutar. You could warm yourself. I feel b'shvil Agdolim mutar imakar godol. Let's say there's only adults there. If he lights it for the Gdolim, if it's really cold there, Shakol Cholim eats a kar, because Ktanim are always called Cholim. But if it's really cold, everyone's considered a Chola when it's very cold. Very hot, not. Lighting air conditioner is not. That tells you, right? If people talk about what's worst. What do they like more? They like the winter or the summer more? The winter, and oftentimes I hear people say, no, all right, the winter, you can always put more stuff on, but summer, you can't take everything off. If you take everything off, you're still going to be hot. Obviously, most people, I think they did a survey, I think double the amount of people like the summer over the winter. Because it's painful to be cold. Hot is annoying, but it's not really painful. However, you have to make sure it's actually pretty cold. What is pretty cold? I guess it depends on where you live, relative. It's all relative. If you live in a place like Siberia, it could be it's negative 30 degrees and it's considered a fairly warm day during the winter. In Siberia, actually, during the summer, it's pretty nice. It's like, could be get up to 80 degrees, Fahrenheit. But during the winter, and if you're in New York, it could be 0 degrees is very cold. And if you're in Israel, it could be 32 degrees, which is 0 Celsius, would also be cold because it rarely gets cold in that country that much. So if it's very cold, unusually cold, then you're considered a chola because your body's not used to it. And again, for chola, we allow Mekar Adin. We learned in Sif Aleph that you're allowed to do it if you're a chola. And everyone's considered a chola, a sick person, when it's very cold. That's the conclusion of today's share. Stay tuned for Ian to lean on, where I address the very big and a big question in halacha here in Israel that a lot of ultra-Orthodox people are machar to have generators. Is it necessary for this tremendous financial expenditure? Ian to lean on coming up next.